Ahsoka episode 3.
Yes.
Very, very short.
It was a shorter one. I noticed that
Because
straight away with the runtime.
But even this is my problem with Disney Plus and all streaming services. Because do you remember when Netflix first came about?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like, wait, Friends used to be on for 30 minutes on TV. These episodes are only 23 minutes long. It's like, yeah, but you don't have to worry about adverts or anything anymore. Ha ha ha. And we're like, oh, sweet. Stuff can now be watched quicker. And then we come to Disney Plus and it says that this episode of Ahsoka was 37 minutes. But once you skip the recap from the last episode and the intro, and then you cut out the credits at the end, it's actually only 32 minutes. How are we losing 5 minutes of a very short running time anyway to recap opening and closing credits?
The thing as well, though, is like most of that is credits.
Mm-hmm.
Like Star Wars has such, because it's got this crazy long like credit sequence that some people have gone out there and translated it, broke the cipher on it. But like, yeah, you're right. It takes off like, and especially after episode 1 and 2 were such long, like we were like, oh, this is a good chunk of opening. And then it's like the third episode is like, nah, psych, it's back down to like 30 minutes.
It's the old Revenge of the Sith meme. R2 was supposed to be going up, not down. But that runtime didn't hurt the episode's quality. It was a very good episode.
No.
Still.
And I think it did end where it needed to, and I don't feel like it missed out on anything. I think it's more just like I just want more. Yeah. It's not necessarily like it was too fast of a pace.
No, it was good. It was nice to see Sabine starting to train again, and just Hugh Wang. Hugh Wang. Is just absolutely torching Ahsoka and Sabine every chance he gets. He is so
classic.
Sassy.
It's the classic thing of like, we need to have a droid of some sort that has good personality. They chose Hugh Wang, and it's great.
And then you add David Tennant's voice onto it, and it's just the perfect level of sass.
Yeah, it is exactly. I really enjoyed the training thing, like the things he was using to track.
Yeah,
because I feel like that's a new. From my memory, I don't think I've ever seen that for Jedi training, and I've always cool.
I don't think we've ever seen proper practice sabers like that.
No, we've seen some wooden stick stuff before, I think, but like the whole like marking where she's hitting and having like a score to it, it's like, oh shit, we've seen the whole drone shoots a little laser from the original trilogy, but it's like there's a lot of stuff there that they can like is new, have fun with the VFX. I enjoy the training. Then Ahsoka was just like, okay, you don't think you can use the Force, you're still going to put on the helmet and we're still going to do this. And she's just like 100% could have beaten her ass at any point, but she's just like tap, and Sabine freaks the fuck out. And I loved that whole like training thing, but then also did show that like she was improving as it went on.
It's definitely the I mean, it was the running joke from the not the Mandalorian, Rebels at times, where it's like, I just wish she wasn't so Mandalorian because she's just so wound tight and everything.
Yeah.
And that is kind of just an extension of it. It's like Ahsoka is confident that she can access the Force, but she's just so wound tight and stuck in her ways that she's blocking herself.
Yeah.
And that's why like Mandalorian Jedi are so powerful and so rare.
Yeah. There was a fun, the thing with the cup. I saw a great thing on TikTok that obviously reminded me then, because someone was like, this is a mirror of like when Ezra was first trying, and he's trying to move a bowl, and then Chopper picks it up when he thinks he's starting to move it. And it is very much a mirror of they're both trying to move something and struggled. Ezra figured it out. Sabine could also figure it out. I enjoyed very much the ship chase fight sort of thing, and how we got there like butting heads a bit, and then Ahsoka was like, okay, let's do it your way. Like, what do you need from me? Stop. She went like what she's known from always being forced to follow her master's teachings and always butted heads against that, and then kind of developed past that and realizes, hang on, I don't know everything. I don't know the best. What does Sabine need? And then they just kick ass with their joint moves. I thought that was very fun.
Yeah, I did enjoy the subtle dig about you've come from a unconventional line of Jedis, because when you actually like follow like the Jedi lineage back, it goes Yoda to Dooku, Dooku to Qui-Gon, to Obi-Wan to Anakin to Ahsoka to Sabine.
Yeah, and all along that, like, I mean, even way back to Obi-Wan, he went against it a little bit, and then it's like obviously Anakin did, then Ahsoka, and it's like, it's just, I liked how there's so many times where Huang's like, this isn't the Jedi way, and Ahsoka goes, yeah, but I ain't a Jedi. Yeah. I've worked out fine. What's your point?
I mean, you just look at the entire line. You got Dooku who fell to the dark side, but he didn't fall like because he wanted power. He fell because he thought the Jedi Order was wrong.
Yeah.
Then you had Qui-Gon, who was not a conventional Jedi at all.
No.
Followed by Obi-Wan, who tried to be a good Jedi, but fell in love and developed attachments. Anakin, who did that to an even bigger degree and then obviously fell to the dark side. Ahsoka, who got kicked out of the Order wrongfully and then turned her back on the Jedi when invited back in. And then you got Sabine, the person who might not even be Force sensitive and isn't a Mandalorian.
Yeah. It's a wild lineage. We also got to see Purgles in CGI.
That was so cool.
They look amazing. And like they very much got across the sense of scale from them, which I loved. Even more excited for this whole, like, that is quite clear now why they're at that planet. They're all there. They're obviously going to migrate from that planet. The ship was them realizing what the ship was and stuff. I saw a thing that I think Luke linked to me. The ship interior, the golden one or whatever on the ring, that interior of the cockpit or whatever, where the Morgans stood, is the same ship that in the trailer we see Thrawn. So it's obvious then, 100% going to make the jump. Thrawn's going to be in this ship when he returns.
Well, yeah, I mean, it explained it all, didn't it? Hugh Wang said in his databanks he found records of intergalactic hyperspace lanes that Purgles used. And the Purgles are here, which clearly shows they're at one of the lane points.
Yeah.
And they're building something that can travel potentially as fast and as far as a Purgle. And the Purgles are the ones who fucking grabbed Ezra and Thrawn.
So, very excited for that. I thought it was cool to see we saw Hera's kid finally.
Jason!
Because my mate made a good point, and I had completely actually forgotten about the kid, I'm going to be honest, because it's been so long since I watched Rebels. But he was like, where's Hera's kid? We haven't seen Hera's kid. So cool to see him show up. I know there was rumor at first that actually he wasn't going to have, people were thinking he wasn't going to have green hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people, it was
like, we're not going to get a kid to dye their hair green.
Well, I don't know. Like, people, whether it was based off a Lego toy or something they'd seen, and he didn't have, and they were thinking, they've changed his like styling slightly, but they haven't. He still had the green hair.
I think it's a bit darker than people have expected. Because when I saw like pictures of it, I was like, "Is that green or is it just like a weird black?" But no, it is green.
I feel like he might play a bigger part towards the end of this.
Yeah, for some reason I've got a feeling he's going to help Sabine unlock her Jedi potential. If we get a Force Ghost Kanan at some point, I'm going to lose full, because that might make me cry.
I think with Ezra might get it.
I'm really curious to see, because like, how long have they been gone in this timeline? Like 10 years?
But this is the thing. We don't know.
No, but we know that the end of Rebels was like
the
2 years before.
the time difference since End of Rebels is about 10 to 15 years, something in that rough ballpark.
So I mean, they could use the time jump, the travel to make Ezra older, but Thrawn doesn't seem to be that much older.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. It's like because it's messing with time. Ezra could be the same age.
Yeah.
Like, or not, like a little bit older. Like,
but I like the idea of like Ezra being like 20 years older and just being like proper Zen, like monk, Jedi, God. And we're like, this is not the kid who was always angry and like always showed flashes of potentially falling to the dark side. This is a kid who's finally understood the Force.
I think that would be cool, but I also think if that was the case, he would have got rid of Thrawn.
Potentially.
We know Thrawn's coming back. It's going to be interesting to see that, like that reveal of Ezra and Thrawn eventually. I thought we got Mon Mothma.
That was really cool.
Yeah, and we got obviously.
Did we know before this that she became the Chancellor of the New Republic?
I don't.
Or is that a reveal?
I don't know.
I don't ever remember hearing about the Chancellor of the New Republic.
I can't remember. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. It might be new, but I thought it was interesting to see how I was getting the same vibes from the senators as like, why do I feel like some of them are in the secret one that we saw in Mando?
Yeah, in the Dark Council meetings.
Yeah. I feel like some of them having connections with that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in Mandalorian that these loyalty oaths they make former Imperial people take mean nothing.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
We've seen that. So them so proudly sitting there like, there are Imperials at every level of the New Republic because they've sworn that legacy to us. It's like, that means nothing.
Yeah, they don't care. It means fuck all when you've got a Sith that's extremely powerful.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I want next episode to move the story along a little bit. If we're still waiting for the next part of the actual story, as in the jump to hyperspace or whatever, after next week's episode, I think they might be losing the pace slightly.
I expect next episode, because it ended with not Sith guy, but Sith guy, Balin saying, go hunt them down, they're in the forest somewhere. He was stood at the star map location, which makes sense now. Purgles are in the sky above that planet where the star, like, it makes sense, the location and everything. We know Ahsoka fights Balin in what looks similar to that, but we were feeling like it was in the place between. But it could very much be that location.
The star map gets popped up and then they have a fight,
so maybe it gets popped up because they're about to do the jump and they need to have
or maybe
or something.
Ahsoka finds it and she's getting the information
Possibly.
and then he interrupts her.
I think there's going to be a fight. I wouldn't be surprised if we know it has the hyperdrive, it's being finished construction, so it's like it could very easily end the episode with everyone going into a jump, or the ship jumps, and then Ahsoka's left with like, shit, we got to wait for this to come back. Because I imagine the idea is it's going to come back and bring Thrawn back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. If it's not this, if the next episode doesn't kind of end on that point of like the jump to go get Thrawn, it's a bit like, come on, pick it up.
I mean,
like,
there's 9 episodes, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're already a third of the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And other than like people trying to work out what's happening, we're not actually any further through than we were at the end of the first episode. We knew at the end of the first episode they were planning to go get Thrawn.
Yeah.
We don't know more than that. Don't get me wrong. We're having a lot of fun getting to the next part of the story, so that's not a problem. But we do need to start getting to the next part of the story.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of the criticism I've seen so far has been valid. What I will say is I did see one very funny thing.
Go on.
So there was some criticism when the last trailer bit came out 2 days before it released of the fight scene that we now know was on Corellia between her and Marok, between Ahsoka and Marok.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, why does it look so washed out? It looks like potentially Disney Plus may have exported it wrong and uploaded it under the wrong color scheme that made it look washed out. Because someone downloaded it and re-rendered it.
Yeah,
under a different export. Just a basic export set. They didn't recolor it manually. They just re-rendered it under a different color setting, and it popped a lot better. So everyone's like, did whoever's responsible for uploading content onto the main platform just fuck up?
Possibly.
Which it would be very funny.
It would, and in a way, it wouldn't surprise me if it turned to a fuck up like that or something.
But I mean, the actual show itself bangs so far. It is.
Yeah,
It's not Andor, it's not Rogue One, it's still peak Star Wars.
It's funny because it's like the criticism I keep seeing is all just so dumb and gets shut down so quick. Like there was one where it's like, why is Ahsoka, we've had multiple outfit changes, which is cool, but she's always in the same pose looking like she's grumpy and mad with her arms crossed. And this person immediately on TikTok shuts it down, that stitched it. They're like, oh yeah, they're back in Clone Wars, she wasn't crossing it, and it shows 4 pictures of her from Clone Wars, all with her arms.
When I think of Ahsoka, I think of her with her arms closed.
And then they're like, oh well, in Rebels, and she didn't have. Oh, yep, she had it in Rebels.
Yeah.
Well, in Mando, she doesn't. Okay, yeah, she had her arms crossed in Mando. Yeah. It's pick if you find a criticism, but at least make sure it's if you're gonna pick one about the way they're doing the character, at least make sure you've researched and realized, oh wait, no, Ahsoka's just being Ahsoka.
It's the exact same thing I saw. I saw someone talking about how all Star Wars characters are becoming really stoic, and they were showing the live action shows. So it's like Mandalorian and Bo-Katan and Boba Fett and Fennec Shard. And I'm like, all of these people have lived their entire life in war and conflict of growing scales.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Well, yeah, we even saw that from Hera in the episode. She was like, yeah, I fought in the wars while you just sat there and waited to see who came out on top, which I love that. You little bitch.
You're telling me what to do here, but you'd still be singing the Empire's national anthem if we didn't win.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of criticism flying around, but a lot of it is just not valid. I think the show is actually really great. And for the people that love Star Wars, it's hitting the points.
Yeah. But what I will say is if you don't like Ahsoka and you don't like Andor, maybe Star Wars ain't for you.
Yeah. Maybe go watch Rebel Moon.
Yeah, maybe.